Hello, hello. This is Chris, and today we will be talking about the Four Pests campaign. Like always, if you are here for gameplay or story or any focus on that, you are in the wrong place. We are here to talk about history while we game, and history is honestly the main topic of this video. So pretty much I said in my Emu Wars video that China had also gone to war with birds, and that is true. Uh, the part that I got completely wrong was it was not in a dynasty. It was actually during Maoist China, um, which uh, which was from 1958 to 1962, and Maoist China lasted longer than that. Maoist China was from 1949 to 1976, but the great the four pest campaign. The Four Pest campaign lasted 4 years, from 1958 to 1962. As always, I'm going to be looking at sorry. I'll be looking at the Wikipedia because I might be a historian, but me and dates do not get along. It's just how I am. I am sorry, but yeah. So we are going to uh, do that, and as I come up here to talk to him, um, so yeah, we're gonna be looking at for pest campaign. Pretty much, I had thought it was much older because I knew that they did this, but I didn't really know what the context was, and so I always try to get these gloves. So I didn't realize that this is what it was, and so pretty much what happened was they had a they sorry. Pretty much what happened was they were like, we need to get rid of all these pests. Four pests, what they had, for rats, flies, mosquitoes, and sparrows in communist China. So I had thought it was much older than this. I thought it was before communist, like way before communist China, back in like dynasties. I was wrong. It was somewhat fairly recently, like less than 100 years ago that this happened. The Emu wars are over 100 years, but yeah, this one is not. And so pretty much what has happened is they were like, we have to take care of this stuff because it's bad, which fair, but it is like but it's like they want to get rid of all the birds, they want to get rid of all the sparrows, like all that stuff, and I don't know what they were thinking. I think they just were like, we are the leaders of China and we're gonna do this. I also didn't realize that they wanted to get rid of. I thought it was like bat. It was like bugs, small like rats, and then some birds. I didn't realize that it was like mosquitoes as well. So I knew of this, but I didn't really like know a lot about it. So essentially they wanted to get rid of, like I said, rats, flies, mosquitoes, and sparrows. And this was during the campaign that Mao had like started. That was for the Great Leap Forward. And so essentially the Great Leap Forward was the Communist Party trying to get out of the like I guess like just bowels of the world. Like they're trying to um, join the rest of the world in the like in the next like in the how do you say it like the I can talk. Oh my god, I am doing great. But yeah, so pretty much um they wanted to
Sylvanus be with you.
God, I am so sorry, guys. I swear I'm here. Okay, anyway, so yeah, they pretty much wanted to like get rid of these pests because there was a like a reduce there is they want to reduce the infection of diseases in grain and loss caused by these pests, and so essentially what was happening um, was there there was like
the child slips between the rocks.
you know there sorry. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, sorry, I am just rambling and not doing great at this, obviously. But yeah.
Look the rocks over, but find no
But
sign of a
sorry,
way
so
through.
pretty much what had happened is there was failure of food production, and there was kind of these like new mandated agriculture procedures that Mao Zedong was putting into place, and they were, they not always the best at doing things. And so pretty much they mandated that all these new agriculture things go into place, and it wasn't, obviously it's not something that like everyone was like, oh, we're gonna do this now, but yeah, so it essentially was that the Mouse Party was like, oh, we gotta feed all these people, and they didn't realize that like the reason they came to power was essentially that like the people were already, really mad about what was happening, and like they were already having trouble with food and all this stuff, and so they were just having more trouble with food, and that just kind of kept going into Maoist, into communist China. And if you don't know much about communist China, I mean, there's a reason for that. They have really tried to like distance the current People's Republic of China is um, is trying to like distance it from communist China, Maoist China, and this campaign was to introduce like hygiene and to eradicate you know to eradicate like transmission of disease, and also to kind of help like the grains and the seeds to grow. And so they were going after mosquitoes because of malaria, they were going after rodents because of the plague, and they were going after flies because they had a they were airborne flies, and so they could oh, we need level 2. Okay, we'll learn that when we get to level 2. Yeah, so there was just a lot that they were going after, and then the sparrows they were going after because the tree that they really liked was the Eurasian tree sparrow, specifically ate grain, seed, and fruit, and so they were trying to go after those birds, so that they could stop them eating seeds and grain and the fruit that people desperately needed. And
I'm sorry.
This is madness, Korga. She's just
and
A
the
what, Wrath?
campaign
thief?
like was
A
underway
poison?
in 1957, but
threat?
it was like would
I will imprison
fully
the devil,
launch in
and I
February
will
of 58.
cast out every stranger.
And then and um, it really like was big in 58, and there was, you know, huge
Girl,
there was huge
you mean parasite.
she
eats our food, drinks our water.
like
Then
there was
steals
like a
our most
huge
holy
push
idol
in the media for this, and
France.
like there was
Wrath,
huge
lock her
campaigns
up.
about it.
She remains
Um,
here
and
until the
then
rite is complete.
pretty much
And
at
keep
the
still,
end of 58,
Tila is restless.
it kind of, you
Come,
know,
Korga.
like
We took back the idol.
it kind
Surely-
of went
Do
away.
it.
People weren't as excited about it, or they won't. They weren't like they weren't really invested, I guess, or like they had other things going on because they had there also along this time was when the Great Leap Forward was happening. Now, there's so much I just have to cover for all of this. So the Great Leap Forward was essentially China being like, we have to industrialize and we have to
It is
like
as you say.
keep up with the rest of the world.
Sif, Tila,
Now-
to me.
Until then,
Out, thief. My grace has its limits.
pretty much until then, it was under a monarchy
Thank you, Korga.
and like a
Master
lot of
Halsin-
just,
Halsin isn't here.
you know,
Keep
hierarchy
his
and things
name
like
off
that.
your tongue,
And
lest
so
Tila pierce
a
it.
lot of people were
I have something to ask.
a lot of people
know
were
that.
like
You're wondering why I was in pain before.
you know, going from farming to
just
other things.
clear the
And
air about
also
that now.
around this time, there was
It's
also
just
a
an old wound
famine
that hurts me from
starting.
time to
So
time.
around
Nothing to be concerned
58,
about. It's
they,
nothing to do with the tadpoles, at least. In case your imagination is in danger
like
of
around
getting away from me.
59, sorry, the
It's just
it,
something I have to live with.
you know, started to kind of go away also because people were worried about food and they couldn't put all their time into going after bugs and birds and, you know, rats, and so they had to like legitimately try to find food. And
Quite a lot,
so by
if I'm being honest.
the about year where
But it
people were
always
like
passes
pretty
quickly, so I can
active in
manage.
this, which was like 58, about 2 billion sparrows had been killed and almost 2 billion rats. And something,
Positive. You can trust me on that.
and something that like really
That woman has more venom in her heart than a snake in
that
its
like
fangs.
really happened
But at least
was
the child is safe. What is youth if
in
not a time to be
1960,
forgiven for one's transgressions?
sparrows were replaced with bed bugs, and so instead of going after the birds, they went after other bugs. And like I said, the economy like just collapsed, and there was tons of famine. Really, by like 61, they were just kind of not doing this anymore because people were dying. And
Couldn't agree more. The girl wasn't innocent, but that doesn't mean she was guilty.
you know, people had other things to worry about, like getting food and stuff like that. And so there really was like a
Go on.
other
Say
things
it.
they had to worry about.
You think I'm a monster?
And so pretty much in total, they killed about
You speak in paradox.
pretty much in total they killed about 3 billion sparrows, about 3.5 billion rats. They got about 200 million
seal the
pounds
groove.
of flies and
Free from
11
harm.
or 25
Free
million
of
pounds of
intruders.
mosquitoes. But these were all government things that had these are all government numbers, so we don't really know how many they got rid of actually, because communist China is you know, known for not always being
No one enters,
truthful.
no one leaves.
Is,
Sanctuary.
so
None of this can happen. while
pretty much
outlanders infect us.
how they,
Sylvanas
so we don't really know.
demands
Also,
we
the
choke them out.
main people,
And
yeah.
mine perish if he stays.
No, the main, sorry,
You
there were so
show
many people
great
going
mettle
after
at
the
the
birds
gate.
were school children,
mettle
so
of
as
a
long as they were
skilled
5 and
sword
above,
behind.
they were kind of conscripted
I want
into
you to
this.
provide your services to
And
Severin.
the
Offer to guide the outlanders out of the grove.
pretty much they were like
I'm sure they'll
indoctrinated to
reward
be
you
like,
well.
we're gonna go
They're to
wipe
be
out the
gone
4 pests.
before
This will
final
save
prayer.
our country. This will make things
If they
better.
are not,
And
the Viper must strike.
and they would like go out every morning, and then at night they would go out, like pretty much before school and after school they would just go out and work together and like chase them and kill them and like just go out and so maybe those numbers that are like really high,
You will do more than speak.
you know,
This tale ends
this is
with
what
one
they
way.
did. You know,
With the outlander
they
at
used
arms,
pretty much they
and the
used like
grove forever
everything
shrouded.
to go after these birds. They used wire clamps, wire cages, bamboo poles, red flags, firecrackers, stones, slingshots, gongs, megaphones, washpins, air guns, and scarecrows. They also would shoot them down with the sky. They would beat them, and because of this, it went into like near extinction because of all of this.
You did well to speak up for the girl. That snake is fickle.
Apparently,
A tragedy prevented.
they had to, because they killed so many in like various places, they would have to go like they would have to like I'd have to, you know, like use shovels to get after all of these, and you know, after all they
Nothing befitting a child.
they had to like
Nothing
use
befitting
shovels
any of
to
our world's creatures.
pretty much like clear
We let
sparrows
the
because there was
snake
just
replace
so
our leader.
many people
She
there,
will see the tieflings driven out, or worse.
and there was like just so much that happened.
Master Halcyon.
And
Perhaps
you know, the
Goblin
Sparrow
Court,
campaign part of
perhaps
this
dead.
just ended in
He'd
disaster.
set Mistress
Um,
Korga back in line.
Even though the
Hold her
other
to task. Stop this
part
damned
of
ritual.
the pests, like
More
all
will
the
die
bugs
if
and the
rite is
rats,
finished. So many more.
did have
Sent into a world
improvements
gone
on like
mad.
the health statistics. You know, they realized that like, yeah, they realized that the birds also ate the insects. They weren't just eating seeds, so that might not be a good idea to go after them. And instead of just changing it to like the 4 pests or the 3 pest campaign,
Would you?
they
I
changed
would
it
give
to
anything
they
to
like
see
changed
Halcyon
sparrows to
return home.
to going after bug beds, and so
Our need is great.
like
I will open the treasures of this grove
that
to you,
so it became
even
a
if the
war on
circus
bugs and
forbids it.
birds, bugs, birds, and
Halcyon is
rodents
an elf
to
with the
just
presence of a bear.
bugs and
He left
rodents.
west with the adventurers.
And so
You won't mistake the first druid for anyone
birds,
else.
you know, the birds were like, I wouldn't say the birds won, but I would definitely say that the birds,
Please leave. Our hospitality has limits.
you know,
And they were crossed long ago.
I wouldn't say that like, you know, the birds won, but I would definitely say that maybe they didn't do great against the birds. And so that's definitely something. And so that, you know, was the thing.
I see you.
Because
Just give me a
because
A moment.
like millions of sparrows were killed,
There.
it was supposed to
It's
be
up
to
to her
like
now.
help make more
Life
food
or death.
because the sparrows weren't eating
Now,
like the seeds and
what was it
like
you
the
needed?
berries and stuff like that.
I do what I
Um,
can. For most folks, that's enough.
the
Come here.
extermination of
Let's
the
have a look at
sparrows
you.
like led to a imbalance,
healthy enough.
which actually turned
tired
into a
around the
surge of
eyes,
locusts because the sparrows were no longer there to, uh,
Crawled in.
the sparrows
Some
were no
sort of
longer there
bug.
to like kill them. So there
Oh,
was a huge
wait.
surge of
Did
locusts,
it look like a
and
tadpole? But from your worst nightmare?
and
All slime,
then
teeth, and
the locust
tentacles.
population like just decimated plants. And so during like the 60s, because they had just destroyed the destroyed all of this stuff, they
I'll
just
do what I can. Come,
didn't
follow
know
me.
what to do.
Might
They
be
like
able to help.
were trying to make
We need to be quick.
they were trying to make
This way.
more food, and they caused it to have less food. And so everyone was kind of like, what do you mean there's less food
Head on
now?
in.
I thought we were getting
There's something in that vessel.
more food out of this,
This
and
one
it
had the same
ended up
problem as
having
you.
less
I
food.
attacked us in the woods
Um,
together with some goblins.
And now, pretty much
Tadpole
the
called
Eurasian
us
tree
hits
sparrow
and
is
after.
pretty much extinct in China as of this day. They have like imported some
Seems so. Give
eh,
Master Halcyon
from
a right start.
they've imported some from like the Soviet Union to try to recover the population, but to this day it's still like kind of decimated. And the thing that's really interesting, because like about all of this
That's why
and
he
how
joined the adventurers
it
on their
it
expedition.
really is just like
To find out
the
what was happening.
common people that
Pity you got me instead
are,
of him.
hurt by
He
all of this
understands these things.
is
Studied them.
the reason
Still,
communism
we have
went,
options.
like actually happened in China
You don't
was
have to be
because
here
the
for this.
the idea was like, oh, we're all going to be fair.
Don't mind
Everything is going to
I'll just
be,
watch.
All right.
equal. And so like a lot of
Let's see
women
what we
were
can do.
pro-communism.
She
Um,
shifts uneasily, hesitating.
and
Something's off.
and so a
might.
lot of women were like, oh,
But
we'll
first
be
things
equal,
first.
because for a very long time it
Tell
was
me about your symptoms.
women had their
Have you
feet
noticed
bound,
anything strange
and
happening?
under communism,
I'm telling you everything you
under
need to
communism,
know.
they were like, oh, well,
Believe
we're going
me
to
on
be equal.
that.
We won't have to have our feet bound
I
anymore.
want to help you, but I
We'll
can't
be able to
unless
just
you
like
work
live our
with
life
me.
and not be dependent on people.
So,
And
has
there,
anything unusual
that didn't
happened to
happen.
you?
I mean, they didn't. There was feet bending was outlawed because it would make someone too different. Like everyone's supposed to be the same and have to be able to work, and you can't do that with your feet bound. And
Protected from on high.
and so
Sounds like the
that was
drow.
something that was changed, and
Master
that
Halcyon
really
said he was
made
tougher
women,
than he had any right
you know,
to be. How'd you pick up
it
the
made
parasite?
women like think that was a good
Halcyon
idea.
desperate to find where all this
And
was happening.
there was also this idea of like, if you were born a certain way,
A mind flayer ship?
if you were, born in a certain
But
class,
Master
that's where
Halcyon
you
was
stayed.
sure.
There was no kind of like
Look,
improvement
you've
of
been straight with
classes.
me, so I'll be
You
straight with you.
were just kind of like given your
You're
lot.
dangerous.
And so
If
under
you transform
communism, it
here,
was supposed to be
we're
that
all
everyone is
dead.
equal. Everyone works hard.
But you
Everyone
seem like a
does
good soul.
their job,
You
and
deserve a
they
chance to
all
save
everyone gets given the same thing.
This
Everyone
is a vial
gives.
of wyvern poison.
Everyone gets to do
Swear to
what
me,
what they
you'll swallow it
want
if
to do,
you feel any
and
symptoms.
what they need to do, and
The thorn?
and
Coated in
so
a fatal toxin. It was a last
that's why
resort.
communism really
In
got
case I couldn't
a
trust you.
foothold in China, was
don't have
because
a
of the
clue.
imperial system.
Only a
What
way
put
out.
the strain on the imperial
I'm sorry
system
for
was actually
misleading you.
England and their
But I had to be
imperial
sure
system,
you weren't a threat before I told
because
you everything.
they essentially
Now,
became
Do I have your word or not?
they essentially made China addicted to
Swear it.
they made China addicted to opium. Long story there. That's another one, and that's one's very, very less fun, and
But you have to. Don't you understand?
you
You could kill us all.
that's a very less fun story. And
I hope it doesn't come to that. But
and
thank you.
so it's
Here.
the idea of
You know, I've spent my life
no longer
treating
being
folk.
under these
I
like
never once
ruined,
saw a
under
mind
these
flayer
rulers that
infection.
kind of fucked your life
Then
over,
suddenly,
was
there's
something that
dozens of you.
definitely
Maybe more. Master
was
Halcyon
appealing.
and I were tracking
And so that's why
them,
communism
studying
really like
trying to figure
did
out
well
what the
in
hells was going
China,
on.
and
Because you should all be
and then
changing.
communism
There should be a
happened,
small
and it
army of
wasn't
mind
better than
flayers out
everything.
there.
People weren't
But you're not.
doing well. People, like if
Weird
you were a
powers
farmer and you
aside,
were working in there,
You seem perfectly normal.
and then
Mind flayers reproduce by infecting
and
someone with their parasite.
you know, they weren't,
7
farmers were
gruesome
treated
days
terribly.
later,
You know, people at the
The
top
victim
were
transforms and
were,
a new mind flayer is born.
very
Nothing in
much
your
like
skull, though.
treated like kings and queens,
It's different to
and they
anything in
were
our
like
records.
they were
It's one of their
dictators.
worlds
You
for
know,
sure.
it was
But this one
communist
gives you
dictatorship.
powers.
The People's Republic of
Telepathic
China now
connections.
says it's a
And that doesn't turn
democracy.
you into one of
And I
them.
say that in the
Not
biggest
yet, anyhow.
air quotes. They still have a dictatorship, but there is, you know, a little bit of democracy there now. But anyway,
Could be. There's a lot we don't know.
but
Infected.
during
folks like
communist
you
China,
have been
the
converging on
reason
an
that
old
this
template of
campaign didn't
saloon.
work is because they're
And I've no
trying
idea
so hard
why.
to change
When
and do
Master
something
Halsin
different
heard
with
the
the Great
adventurers
Leap
were
Forward
heading that
campaign,
way,
with,
he
you know,
saw a
this
chance to
test
get out
campaign
of
where
it.
they're like, they're
Joined
not
on the spot.
actually looking at how
Whatever
they
he
can fix
found
it.
there,
They're looking at
he
like
didn't make it
what
back.
would just make this problem go away. They're not actually,
I think so.
you know, they're not
I hope
actually fixing the
I
root
sent
problem.
birds
They're
to
just
find
kind
them,
of
but they
like
can't get close
treating
without
the symptoms of
goblins
it,
trying to
and
shoot
so
them
it
down.
fucked
You
over their
were.
country even
You're
more.
one of
Like
them.
they had
Technically speaking, I mean.
huge famines
They won't kill
during
someone
the
carrying that parasite.
60s. It
If you can find
like
Halsin and get him out of there,
it's
we can discover what he learned.
stories and stories
perhaps
after
he can
people like
save your life.
watching family members die
How's that sound?
because they just,
The way I see it,
Yeah.
you have two options. Halsin
you know,
or
because
that
it's
wyvern
like
poison.
they didn't have
I don't
anything else
envy
they
your
could do.
choice.
Most of China was
Truly.
still rural at that
But
time.
this is
Most
the
of
hand
China
fate's
wasn't
dealt you.
industrialized at that time, and so they really just had,
Thank you.
you know, they
It
really
would
just
mean
had
everything to the grove.
to
To
try
me.
to live.
I wish I could tell you what
If you've
happened
ever
out there.
read the
But
Joy
those
Luck
adventurers
Club,
were the only witnesses.
the main character's
long
mom,
gone.
when she like leaves
All I can say
her
for sure
her
is
first
they all went to
set
the
of
old
children
temple of
in
Saloon.
China is during
Master
this
Halsin
period,
didn't make it
and
back.
and so
luck
it's
out
like
there.
that's how
And if things
far
start
this
to go
woman was
bad,
willing,
Remember
like
the
was
vial.
pushed to go, was
Remember
she had to
your
leave
oath.
behind 2 children just on the side of the road because,
Come on.
you know, because there wasn't anyone else there. And so this part of Chinese history is very hard and very sad, and it's one of those things that like
In case things start to go very wrong.
isn't good to say the least. And so when you think about it, it's hard to think about it because yes, it is silly. They went to war with birds, you know, birds, bugs, and rats. Like, but it also is the Communist Party of China being like, we don't, you know, we have this problem. We don't know what to do with it. We don't know how to fix it, and we have to pretend like we're doing something because obviously we can fix everything, but we can't. And they just made the matters worse. And unfortunately, a lot of these like weird history facts or these weird like things in history, yeah, they seem funny now to a modern audience, or they seem kind of interesting to a modern audience, or like, oh, how weird and interesting, you know, of a story is either terror for the people going for it or like actual huge consequences that
That's curious.
that the people of that time had to just deal with because they had no other way to go about the world. And they also were dealing with things that, you know, we don't even have to deal with now. It even in, you know, communist China, like they're dealing with someone who does not care about them. They just want to look like they're doing something. They just want to look like they're helping. And they tell them, this is how you do it. This is what you're going to do. And you kind of just have to do it. They don't have a choice to, you know, rebel or do that, anything like that, because the people who did rebel were killed. And, you know, there is a reason that people still, to this day, you can't get information about Tiananmen Square because the communist, the current party in power in China is like, well, no, we never did. Nothing bad ever happened. Why would you say that? How could you say that? And so it's definitely something that you kind of have to think about, and you kind of have to realize that this is a part of history. This is a part of what, of what you're gonna have to live with and what you're gonna have to deal with as you go through history. And with that note, I'm sorry that we kind of ended on a meh note, but yeah, with that note, we are going to end for the day. I think we're just gonna kind of leave this here. And yeah, if you think of another kind of interesting or weird history thing that you want to want me to talk about, or want me to like go through, let me know. There is definitely some fun things that we can do. There is also if you have if you have any I can think of things. Sorry. But yeah, if you have any like, wants for other others thing, if you want me to go through anything else, or you think there's something fun that I should play, just let me know, and I will in the comments, and I can definitely hopefully do that. But yeah. So I think that is where I'm gonna end for today, and yeah, I will talk to you guys later. Okay, bye.